Welcome to the Sleep Lab. What if a message meant for strangers is secretly addressed to the quietest part of you? The part that listens when the night hums and even your own name sounds like starlight. Carl sits alone, lamplight pooling like warm honey across scattered papers, fingertips resting on a record that will outlive oceans. Outside, winter presses its cool forehead to the glass, patient as distant moons. The room smells faintly of dust and oranges, a sweater folded over a chair, a cup ringed with tea. Ordinary things keep watch while his thoughts travel outward, past breath, past weather, past forgetting. The record waits in its sleeve like a seed, small, unassuming, holding forests of voices. He turns it gently, as if it might bruise, as if touch alone could smudge the long road ahead. His reflection wavers in the brass, older than his childhood telescope, younger than the atoms inside his bones. Time folds quietly here, like a letter read twice, creased along the same invisible astonishment. Somewhere, a radiator sighs. Pipes tick like patient metronomes. The building settles deeper into gravity's arms, while his mind leans the other way, toward a darkness so wide it feels almost tender tonight. He imagines the needle lowering, though no needle will ever descend. Imagines grooves waking like rings of a tree remembering rain, each spiral a path through breath, through laughter, through footsteps crossing fragile mornings. The golden record is not gold, not really, only plated hope. Still, it gleams like a promise whispered through cupped hands, passed from century to century, warm from the friction of being held. What do you send to the unknown, when the unknown is also your mirror? A greeting, yes, but also a confession that you were here, briefly luminous, briefly afraid, briefly capable of astonishing gentleness. He thinks of Earth as a room left quietly lit, curtains breathing with wind. Rivers move like sleep under blankets of cloud. Cities blink and murmur, unaware their murmur may one day drift alone. On the record are greetings in many tongues, syllables like pebbles dropped into a vast well. Each one falls, never striking bottom, only widening the circle of ripples in invisible water. Language, he knows, is a bridge built of air. Yet he trusts these bridges, fragile as frost, because even frost carries a pattern, and pattern is the universe's way of leaning closer. He closes his eyes and hears the whale's long call, stretched like blue silk through water older than stories. The ocean itself seems to speak, vowels shaped by pressure, consonants carved from patient salt. There is laughter too, bright, sudden, like sparrows startled into sky. A kiss, a mother's voice, a heartbeat translated into rhythm. Small sounds, easily lost on Earth, now granted the scale of constellations. What if the cosmos listens the way a child listens at a door? Not for answers, only for proof that someone inside is breathing, moving, living a life warm enough to leave fingerprints. The spacecraft is a bottle cast upon a shoreless sea, its glass forged of equations, its cork sealed with fire. Inside, this record turns silently, a clock whose ticking is measured in stars. Voyager does not hurry. It drifts like a dandelion seed blown from the garden of gravity, carrying pollen of memory. Space is not empty. It is velvet, deep and dark, brushing softly against everything. He feels the paradox bloom, that the farther the craft travels, the more intimate Earth becomes. Distance is a lens that sharpens love, the way night makes a single window glow unbearably dear. Atoms in the record once burned inside ancient stars, long before oceans learned their tides. Now those atoms hold Chuck Berry's guitar, Bach's fugue, the slow turning of human breath into song. Music is mathematics wearing perfume, numbers dressed in longing. Even without ears like ours, perhaps another mind could feel the symmetry, the way a spiral shell fits perfectly in the palm. He smiles at the thought, some distant intelligence tilting its attention, like a sunflower tracking light, puzzled and patient, tracing our harmonies the way we trace fossil leaves pressed into stone. The cover bears instructions, diagrams like quiet riddles. Pulsars mark our address, their steady flashes a cosmic lighthouse. We trust the universe to be consistent, its rhythms a shared heartbeat across unthinkable distance. A pulsar is a neuron listening for lightning, firing with precise intervals, teaching time how to repeat. He imagines alien eyes counting those beats, mapping the sky like careful cartographers of darkness. To reveal your location is an act of faith. It is lighting a candle in a vast field at night and saying, gently, "We are here, not to conquer, only to be known." Earth's image travels too, a pale crescent, clouds curled like sleeping animals. He knows how small it looks, how easily mistaken for dust on a lens, yet all love he has known fits there. Every war, every poem, every quiet apology whispered into pillows, contained in that shimmer. A world is a jar of fireflies, briefly bright, carried through a forest so wide it forgets edges. The paradox deepens, our fragility is our message. We sin not our strength, but our softness, trusting that vulnerability might be a universal language, like warmth felt through the dark. He thinks of time as a river freezing mid-flow, moments trapped like leaves in ice. The record holds such frozen currents, voices of the living already becoming echoes, preserved in spirals of metal. One day, all these speakers will be dust rearranging itself into other forms. Yet their vibrations continue outward, as if sound itself refuses burial, choosing instead to wander, barefoot, across eternity. Is memory heavier than matter, or lighter? The craft carries both, yet it moves. Perhaps remembering is the universe's way of staying in motion, refusing the stillness that forgets everything. Stars are not distant lamps, but furnaces dreaming of light. Their glow arrives late, like letters delayed by centuries. When we look up, we read old news written in hydrogen handwriting. Voyager moves through this archive, a quiet librarian of Earth. Its antenna listens the way a shell listens for sea, catching whispers of radiation, translating static into a kind of weather. Carl feels kinship with the machine. Both are listeners, both built to receive. To listen deeply is to become porous, to let the universe pass through you like wind through tall grass. He remembers childhood nights, grass cool against his back, the sky a vast, freckled face. Wonder then was simple, wordless, a door opening without hinges, swinging forever inward toward mystery. Now the mystery has circuitry, equations, launch windows. Yet beneath the math hums the same feeling, a hush before vastness, a sense that reality is wider than fear can measure. The golden record is that childhood door set adrift. It swings open in vacuum, inviting whatever passes to peer inside and find not answers, only the warm clutter of being human. He traces the grooves again. They resemble fingerprints, whirls of identity pressed into metal. Perhaps intelligence anywhere begins this way, spirals of complexity tightening, learning to hold shape against chaos. Life is the universe practicing memory, arranging atoms into stories that persist for a while. The record is such a story, condensed, a pocket diary slipped into the code of infinity. What if no one ever finds it? Does the message still matter? A question like that is a stone dropped into his thoughts, sending rings outward, touching shores he cannot see. He decides the act itself is the answer. To speak into the dark is to discover the dark listens differently afterward. Silence, once addressed, becomes a partner rather than an absence. Voyager is our outstretched hand, fingers open, palm unarmed. Even if it closes around nothing, the gesture shapes us, teaches our species the posture of greeting over grasping. In that posture, he finds quiet hope, not loud, not certain, but steady as breath. Hope is a candle cupped against wind, small yet stubborn, insisting on a circle of light. The cosmos, he thinks, is a cathedral with no walls, only distances. Light moves like incense through its aisles. Our record is a hymn folded into a paper airplane, thrown upward. Somewhere, long after Earth's continents shift like slow thoughts, the craft will still wander. Its path is a sentence without period, grammar written in gravity and the soft persuasion of momentum. He feels both immense and tiny, a paradox worn comfortably now. To belong to such a universe is to accept scale the way a note accepts silence around it. The radiator clicks again, returning him to the room, to the sweater, the tea gone cool. The infinite contracts gently, like a lung exhaling, until only lamplight and breath remain. Yet he is altered. The ordinary glows faintly, as if dust motes carry starlight inside them. The table, the chair, his own hands, each a small voyager, traveling through years toward unknown listeners. He understands that every life is a record, grooves cut by choices, by love given or withheld. We spin silently, broadcasting patterns into the future, rarely knowing who might hear. He thinks of the people whose voices ride that disk, unaware of their long voyage. Their days continued. Laundry, errands, laughter, while copies of their breath slipped beyond planets, beyond the sun's warm fence. We are always sending ourselves outward, he realizes, through kindness, through cruelty, through memory. The universe keeps everything, like a vast attic where nothing spoken is ever fully lost. This thought does not frighten him. Instead, it softens his gaze. If all echoes endure, perhaps gentleness is the most practical legacy, a frequency more likely to be welcomed. Outside, a car passes, tires hissing on wet pavement. The sound is local, fleeting, yet no less miraculous than pulsars. Scale shifts, but wonder remains the same shape, fitting neatly into attention. He rests his palm on the record once more, a quiet blessing. Metal cool, heartbeat warm. Two kinds of time meet here, the swift animal pulse and the slow mineral patience. Between them, a bridge forms, a human moment touching eternity without tearing. He feels gratitude, simple and bright, like a window suddenly opened in a room long closed. The question from the beginning returns, gentler now. Who is this message truly for? Perhaps for the senders, teaching them to see themselves from the outside, small and shining. Perspective is a kind of mercy. From far enough away, borders blur, grievances thin like mist. What remains are patterns of blue, white, and the faint glow of shared atmosphere. To imagine alien eyes is to borrow a wider gaze, one that makes forgiveness easier, that reveals how precious and improbable this breathing, singing world has always been. He turns off the lamp. Darkness gathers, not empty but full, like soil around a seed. Somewhere, Voyager continues, a quiet syllable moving through a sentence written in stars. In the dark, his own thoughts feel like distant spacecraft, small lights crossing inner space, carrying recordings of love, doubt, memory. He lets them travel without chasing, trusting their silent trajectories. And you, listening now, you are part of the record too, another groove, another whisper. The universe leans close, vast and patient, as if your breathing were the message it awaited. Before you drift away, subscribe for more quiet journeys. Like if this moment felt warm, comment with your thoughts, and share this calm with someone who needs softer sky tonight. We travel together.